In a world chasing clicks and quick hacks, we're here for what actually lasts. This is The Long Game, where PR meets relationship marketing. Real talk, real leaders, and real results. We're cutting through the noise to show how credibility, connection, and consistency builds brands that endure. So whether you're an overwhelmed digital marketer, a business owner trying to stand out, or a thought leader ready to just level up, welcome to The Long Game. Because building something that lasts takes heart. So let's welcome your host, Jeremy Knopf and Jessica Suter. Let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Long Game podcast. And we're going to be doing things a little bit differently today. Jessica won't be joining us. She's handling some prior commitments out there, taking over the world. But today we have a special guest and a good friend of mine, Miss Amanda Webster. What is up, rock star?
Hi.
So for everybody who does not know you, which is like 6 people, I think, let's start off by talking a little bit about who you are, what you do, and a little bit of your background that led you to where you are right now, Amanda.
So I have I feel the most diverse, unique background for somebody that currently sits in like a real estate focused role. But I ran law firms for many years, 17 to be exact. I ran a financial lending company for 5 years. And then where I sit now is within an education coaching business within the real estate game. So I've had like this diverse background. But I think the most important thing that has given me the ability to be organized to a level and have relationships to a level that I do now is I am a military spouse of a career military man. That is in itself a very big job to have. And then also I am raising 5 children with him. And so that is just chaos at its best. So that's a little
Indeed. But you handle it all with poise and grace. So I want to give a little bit of context to your background because you were kind of vague in some of the things that you mentioned. I don't know who you were with when you were with the law firm, but I know the financial company, RE Page Fund and Grow. Now you're with Tiffany High with Results Driven. Like these are some of the folks who are at the top of their industries, people who everyone looks up to and respects. So for you to be in these companies, running them at the level that you're running them, that says a lot about you, who you are, the principles that you live by. And that's something I've always really respected about you is like you are just a person of integrity, but you're also very competent and amazing at what you do.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think that, and I was the same way in the law firms. I always tried to surround myself with just great, wise, successful people, because I think that I'm a firm believer in you are the people you surround yourself with. And so I've always tried to make sure that I am reaching for people that have the same compass I do in a lot of ways. So I try to make sure that, and also they're way more successful than me on purpose, right? Because I want to hang out with people that can grow myself, that can help me figure out, what's that next level for me. And so that's always been a point. And it's the same thing that I do the other way. Like I always try to make sure that I'm surrounding myself with people that I know also have this greatness in them that I can help lift and that I can pour into and help them on their journey. So I try to be full circle and intentional in who I surround myself with, which is why I know you.
Yes, indeed. So that's something you've always been great at, and it dovetails perfectly into one of the first things I wanted to bring up. You've basically built everything that you've built on the power of relationships.
Yeah.
You did it with the affiliate side of things, both at Fund and Grow and at Results Driven. And you've been really good about intentionally building the right relationships. But you take it a step further. Where I see a lot of people go wrong is they'll put all this time and effort into building the relationships, but then they just kind of fall off, right? They don't have a system in place for staying on top of things. They don't have a system in place for really consistently bringing value to the people in their network. And that's something you've always been amazing at. And it's something Jess and I talk about all the time. So let's talk a little bit about how you do that, because the right relationships change everything. So how do you manage this so effectively where other people get it wrong so often?
So the one thing I'll say most people do as a mistake is they have the excuse of, I don't have the system, or I don't know how to do it, or whatever excuse you want to implant there, right? Whereas for me, I'm not going to say it's innate in me and like it's just natural, because there's definitely things I have to keep on top of, right? Because I'm human, so things are going to fall off. But I
Sure.
think the system can be as simple as putting something on my calendar to block time to check in with people, and checking in with everybody who I feel is important to me, or I'm important to them. It doesn't matter which way or why. And that's true for personal too, right? Like, same thing, you check in with your friends, right? You check in with your family. You don't forget to do that. It's the same thing in a professional environment. It's, you have to be able to build a true or like authentic relationship to be top of mind all of the time, both ways, right? I always want to be the person that Jeremy thinks about and says, you know what, I'm having a problem or I'm having a bad day. Who can I call that can help me, make me laugh, whatever it is, right? Who can I send a video to? It's literally what we were doing before the show. Is like,
Yeah.
how can I make you laugh about something that's just silly to lighten the mood, lighten the day? Or how can I connect you with somebody who needs your help and you can just really be that person for them? It's just constantly going. We have a mutual friend, I call him a mentor, who has the 40 great people or whatever, right? And so I think it's super important to block out time and check in with people. Check in with them from a human level, not a, hey, when are you paying me your next check? Or, hey, why don't you refer me some more people? Those conversations should be ancillary just by being top of mind. And I think that's how I've always done it. In the legal world, the same thing. There's a reason why I was able to build the things I was able to build on that side, because referrals work a little differently, but in a lot of ways the same, is being top of mind, being that human that they actually want to interact with. And so I always just lead with the intention of how I want people to interact with me.
Yeah, I love that. And that's something I think you've always been great at it. Like you were joking about some of the stuff we were sending back and forth, but I mean, you and I do that all the time, and it's not a transactional thing. It's something because we genuinely care about each other, right? And I think a lot of people have a hard time with the like real relationship versus more of a transactional thing.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes down to just caring. Like, I know you've been going through your share of challenges lately, and I have as well. And like we have a habit of just like sending funny shit back and forth to lighten the mood. And I don't think most people realize like that's how simple it can be sometimes, right? You're just taking a legitimate personal interest. Are you doing anything from like you mentioned calendar reminders and whatnot? Are you like tying your CRM into this in any way, or is it just kind of a
So
calendar
I will,
reminders?
I'll be negative for 1 second and say that I absolutely have yet to find a CRM or a software solution that helps you with relationship management. It is just not something it's built on. They're all built on transactional relationships. So I am actually currently, I'm not building it myself, but me and the COO over at Results Driven, we are currently building a go high level instance that will be my way, how I want to interact with people, how I want reminders set up, so I'm in the process of building it, because all of
I
them are
love that.
transactional based. None of them are like, have you touched this person's file? And we got to call it a file, right? Because technology, but like, have
Sure.
you checked in with them this month? Have you asked, and then putting notes in, have you asked about how their daughter's college is going, like whatever it may be, right? We can't remember everything. And when I have 60 affiliate partners within this specific organization that I need to be on top of, some of them I'm in the building process of relationship because I came in and they were already here. Some I brought in, some I knew from before, whatever it may be, putting in notes so that you can remember things. And, little things, I was joking earlier, like their kids' names, right? So that when you actually talk about them, you can actually remember, because we can't remember everything. So there is
Right.
not a CRM solution currently. I am building one that's my way. And then I maybe one day will make it where I can share it with people. But first, it has to be done the way I want it to be done. I don't ever want it to feel like I'm just checking a box with somebody. I always want them to feel like I actually give a crap about what's going on in their world, both business and professional. However, I will also point out, I don't know if this is one of the questions you already had ready for me, but is that you will come across some that they're not open to the relationship side, right? They only want the transactional. So I adjust. It's super easy to be transactional, right? That's actually the easiest part to do. So you will run into that occasionally. It's rare, but it does happen. And so I always want to meet people where they're at and where they're comfortable.
I love that. And speaking of that app that you're talking about, I assume that's something that's available to your private community members. It's not like just a general open thing.
Well, right now it's just me.
Okay.
So, but as I build it, as I do it, I might bring it to the public, or at least into the groups that, that we live in and meet with. I just don't want to do anything until I know it's really good, right? Because all the other ones out there are they're just basic. They're not good, in my opinion. They're really clunky and hard to use. And I want one that makes it easy for you to know, hey, I haven't checked in with this person in 2 weeks. I should probably just send a text, say, hey, thinking about you, right? Like, hey, wondered how your daughter's game went. Like, I try to keep tabs on certain pieces like that. Then transactional ones, it's super easy, just check in for the transactional purposes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think people get wrong when it comes to the overall strategy, right? Because we can spin our wheels trying to be everyone's friend, but not get any business out of it, not create any real revenue, any real impact. So how would you approach it to specifically create an outcome rather than just build relationships for the sake of building them?
Well, I always say leading that conversation should always be about learning what they do, what solution they provide, how they help people. Because by me learning about them, it does two things. A, they know I'm interested. They know I actually care. I'm asking the questions to learn. And I will ask them deep ones. I'll dive deep into the business, especially if I don't understand it. I'm going to ask even more questions like, well, how do you do that? Or how does that happen? Or can you show it to me, right? And I want to really understand their offering, their positioning in the market. By doing that, it tells me, okay, will this solution work for our community? Will this solution make their lives either buy back more time, whatever the thing is, make them more money, whatever. It'll allow me to know right away if this is going to be something that I can make a transactional relationship on top of just the personal understanding of what they're doing. I think that's the biggest mistake is people will go in and go, okay, well, what can you do for me? Or how can you make me more money? Instead of figuring out what do they actually bring to the market that's a solution, whether it's a service or a product or a SaaS company, whatever it is, how are they actually able to help the people that we care about, right? Our students, in the role that I'm in, my number one thing is how is it helping the community? Because I do run into partnerships where they can't pay the traditional commission rev share, right? They have restrictions from different things like a title company, right? They've got RESPA laws. So there are ways though to make that work. You can come up with sponsor marketing agreements, whatever, but again, only if it leads to a solution that makes sense for the community, right? And so by learning about them, you're solving two things. You're building a relationship just because the more they talk, the more they like you. So that's kind of how that works in human biology of like the way that we think. And then you're also learning to figure out how does this place in your community? And if it doesn't, you've made a quick friend. Maybe you make a referral. Hey, this doesn't work for me, but you know what? I know someone this might work for, and pass them along. And they're going to remember that if that ends up coming into fruition and you're still top of mind to them. Because I don't believe you can have too many friends in this industry.
Agreed. And there's something I think you've always been really good about, and that's finding ways to bring value to the people in your network along the way, right? And this is beyond just the checking in and staying in touch with them, right? Like you're someone who always, if somebody's looking for a particular provider of a service or a product, you'll tag somebody in it, or you'll randomly make an intro or things like that. So what are some of the other hacks like that you have found for bringing value to the folks in your network?
I have found people, employees, just by virtue of them announcing, hey, I'm looking for this role. And I'm like, you know what? I think I might know somebody. I happen to be blessed with a photographic memory. I have a really solid memory there, even though sometimes, yeah, I know it's crazy.
So you're
So
like a female Sheldon.
I literally can remember based on like what I was looking at, what the scenario, like I can photographically remember. It was great in school, fantastic for learning math specifically. But, I don't think there's any limit to it. If I am in a group, a community on Facebook or in school, whatever, and somebody's looking for a solution, a person, a company, or whatever, I just innately want to help them. I think that is innate in me. That is something that I don't know that you can like learn. Maybe you can, but that has always been inside me.
Sure.
Because I feel like that's my gift to the world, is to be able to connect people, to find the gaps and find the solution that fits into that. And also letting people think outside the box. I've had a lot of people come to me and say, hey, I'm looking for this. But when they really tell me what it is, I'm like, that's not really what you're looking for. So it's just solution ability to do that. We had that happen at a mastermind you and I went to a few weeks back, where we were in these, breakout rooms, and somebody was like, I think I need a head of ops. I think I need this. And when he broke it down, he really needed an executive assistant. That's a high level executive assistant, right? But if you don't put it out there, because you don't know what you don't know. And so he just assumed he needed the head of ops. And so those are things I just love to do, because I feel like helping people will always come back to me, and it always has. And so it's just kind of how I live my life. It's how I live my personal life too. There is not a friend, even if it's just an acquaintance out there, that if they reach out to me for something, if I can find the solution or help them, I'm going to, short of giving them my paycheck.
I love that. And then that kind of dovetails into another area where I see a lot of people get it wrong, and that's that they try to rush it. They try to create an outcome from it. They try to be best buddies overnight, and that always fails. So how do you kind of evaluate as you're nurturing that relationship to make sure that you're on the right timeline here and not coming off a little bit needy and clingy and desperate and all those wonderful things?
We don't want stage 5 clingers. Those are bad. We don't need those in our lives. No, it's a courtship, right? It's like anything else. Any relationship in your world, no matter what way you define it, is a courtship of some type. I do think it's important. Same way I feel with hiring, right? Hiring fast, firing fast. That is a philosophy I agree with. I think it's super important because I hire for the person, not for the skill set. I think it's the same way with partnering with people. Is in the beginning, you're going to have to take a little bit of time to really understand what's going on, what the potential is, what the possibility is, but you also don't want to spend too much time. So I try to quickly find out about them, because again, if I'm just asking them questions about them, nobody truly will shy away from that. Everybody loves to, especially a business owner, right? We love to tell you all about our business.
Oh yeah.
And so I've never found somebody who thought I was clingy just by learning about them. The clingy comes in if I'm constantly asking them how they can help me. And so I think that's the change of the mindset of the conversation. Is it'll never be perceived as clingy or too much or aggressive if you're just finding out about them. If you're finding about their business, about what they offer, what solutions they have, what their price points are, like all the things. But I would say within a couple of conversations, pretty quickly if this is going to be something that can also be transactional, that can also produce some type of revenue stream for you. And if it doesn't mean you just cut them off. It just means you don't focus that as much energy over there. Maybe you only check in with them every couple of months just to stay, connected, versus every single month. Or in some cases, I have people that I check in with every week, depending on what they have going on. So I think it's identifying where your energy should be spent, both personal and professional. I think it's always a good play. Think of it the same way you do with family. How often do you check in with that cousin that you don't really like very much because they're a little off, versus, the aunt that has been like a second mom to you, right? Like it's the same philosophy that you use in selecting who you spend your time with personally, professionally too. But it can all lead to some type of revenue source if it makes sense for what you are offering, right? It has to fit into your mold. Some of them don't make revenue directly. Some of them can be indirect. I mean, there's people that I can't partner with, but I can connect them and maybe I'll get a little finder's fee, right? Like there's ways to think and be creative about it.
Yeah. You know, one of the other areas, and I've been guilty of this myself, is giving too much, right? The other side of the coin. And there's people in our circle. We won't say any names, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But there's people in our circle who, man, they will take everything you pour into them. But when it comes time to reciprocate, they are nowhere to be found.
Yep.
So how do you identify some red flags around that so that you're not wasting your time in one of those types of relationships?
It's kind of the inverse, right? If someone's approaching me or reaching out to me, and the only time they're reaching out to me is for something transactional or self-serving, if that's the only time they're reaching out to me, that's a pretty easy in your face red flag that they do not have an authentic relationship with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes if they're a really great revenue source for you, you just switch them to a transactional relationship then. You just switch the energy you put into them. But it's pretty easy to know. It's like anything else. If they're only coming to you for things they need, for things they want, for money they can make, then you know that's what it is, right? That's it. If they're never reaching out just to see how you are, and they're never reaching out with, hey, I saw you post something, is everything good? If you never have any of that from them, then they're just transactional, and just treat them as such.
Yeah, I love that. Well, let's dive into a topic that we touched on briefly at the beginning. When it comes to kind of managing all of this, I think you're a little bit of a ninja, right? You handle this shit really smoothly, and you've got a much higher workload than a lot of other people, I think, right? You're doing what you're doing in your role at work, but you're also building and nurturing all these relationships, and you're doing that while you're handling all of the kids and the husband away on deployment and all of the chaos that comes with that. And for anyone who's not a veteran family, you can't even begin to imagine how stressful and chaotic that shit is. So let's talk about how you manage all of that without going completely gray and losing your shit.
Well, I'm going completely gray, but that's just because I don't have time to get my hair dyed right now. However, no, I mean, I think what works for me may not work for everybody, but the thing that boils down and works for me the best is blocking my time on my calendar for my personal side as well. So point being is like, I have a family calendar that everything, when I get the school schedule, every day off from school, every half day, everything, I spend like 30 minutes on a Sunday when that happens, and I throw it all into my Google Calendar for my family. My husband's drill schedule, his deployment schedule, his training schedule, whatever it is for military, it's all color coded. It goes in there, right? Same thing in my professional life. Everything goes onto my calendar, whether it's a reminder, a task, an appointment, a check-in. I have them coded. We use Google Workspace, so it's all coded within Google. And so I have it there, and I live and breathe by my calendar. If it is not on my calendar, it's probably not going to happen. I'm also somebody who, if you text me or email me and I can't get to whatever it is at that moment, I'm leaving you unread. Like I'm not even opening it because I know what it is. And if I open it, I'm going to have a problem because I'm going to forget how to do it. Right. Because in the chaos, I'm not going to remember everything. Right. It's
Sure.
not possible. So I am very big on that. And I'm also a person that wakes up in the middle of the night, will remember something, and I will email myself 100% of the time, all the time. And so I think that's just what's always worked for me is everything has to be scheduled, and blocking time to do the things that are important, like the check-ins, like my reporting, like whatever it may be, right? Like before this, I had a time block to create some slide decks for some trainings we have coming up, right? If I don't do that, there's no way to be successful. I can't function. But you have to be disciplined. It has to be something you are going to stick to. So if that doesn't work, if a spreadsheet works better, like whatever works for you is what's going to matter. But calendaring everything is what truly has worked for me. And on the personal side, like things get missed still, trust me.
Sure.
Pretty sure my air filters in my house need to be changed right now. I think I'm supposed to do it on the 1st. It'll happen, right? I'm very also always, the glass is always half full on everything that I do. I know you know that about me. Like I am always an optimist on everything. And so I don't ever want to dwell on it. If I miss something, I'm just going to figure it out and make it up and try not to have it happen again. Nothing that happens in our lives is so important that it can't wait till tomorrow if something, pops up that's truly family related. So that's just kind of how I run my life. But calendaring is everything. Every day.
I love that. I mean, I honestly think that structure allows you to be disciplined more easily.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. As you know, I'm a military household, so we're very structured and disciplined here.
I get that more than most people would ever understand. So I'm with you. All right. Well, let's close with, if you had to give one piece of advice to somebody when it comes to building and nurturing relationships as a path to scale their business, what would that one piece of advice be?
I'm going to give a book to read because
Right.
I think it is, some people read it for a different purpose, but when you read it from the lens of not just hiring, but the who, not how, is the most phenomenal book that you can read. And when you think about relationships, because it's the same philosophy applied to what I do. It's all about the who. The how can be figured out. How are we going to make money? How are we going to do this? How are we going to track it? If you get stuck on that, you're always going to be stuck, right? Anyone can make an excuse to get stuck, but it's always the who. Is the who for your employees. It's the who for the people you partner with. It's the who for your spouse, right? It's the number one most important decision you make in your life is who you marry. So like the how will come. You'll figure it out if you really want to accomplish it. The who is everything. So I always take everything I do as the relationship matters more than the outcome. And if you drive it that way, the outcome will come. The revenue will come, the transaction will come, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish will happen, and you will impact way more people. And that is what we should all be here on this earth to do, is impact as many people as we can.
Such great advice. And that book keeps coming up in so many people's recommendations. I've got it sitting
back there.
I've got it sitting on my bookshelf as well. And I guess one of these days I'm going to get around to reading it. But all right, cool. Well, then let's let everybody know how they can find you, Amanda.
All right. So it's super easy. My previous role, I was the chief operating officer, and I never changed my handle. So it's Amanda Webster, COO, is on all of the various platforms, except for TikTok. I don't do TikTok, guys. I just don't understand how to do TikTok. Probably I'm old, maybe. I don't know. But no, anywhere else you can find me, Amanda Webster, COO. And then if you want to check out who Tiffany and Josh High are, they are phenomenal people. Results Driven is the company that I assist them with. And please check them out. They're fantastic.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, listen, you have shared so much valuable advice for everyone watching, whether it's live or later on afterwards. Definitely implement the advice Amanda shared today. She is an absolute rock star at this stuff, and everybody knows her. Like, you see her at an event and everyone's running up to her. It's a testament to her approach to building and nurturing the relationships. And she's created great results for the businesses she's been involved with. So I encourage you guys to go connect with her on social. You will learn a ton, and she's a great person to have in your network, one of my favorite humans. So Amanda, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap for today. Jessica's team will get the blog post and all the links and all that stuff up shortly. It'll probably be a little bit of a delay since she is out and currently engaged. So that will be up when it's up. And we look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Thanks, everyone.